What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another vlog. I received my Vibrant Performance coolant line today, so I'm going to go ahead and get that installed in the engine bay. I'm still waiting on the throwout bearing or the release bearing for the transmission, so I can get that installed, but that should be showing up tomorrow. So it's a little after midnight and getting home from work, and after taking a little bit of a break, I'm going to go ahead and get this installed. I got to cut it down just to run the coolant bypass line. Since I'm running the oil cooler, I don't need the 3 feet of metal line that was in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit simpler, hopefully eliminate the kinks and not have coolant issues this time with this new motor. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed and figure out what else I'm going to be doing. Alright guys, just to kind of show you what's going on. So this, I've got a couple of coolant lines going on over here. So these will both go to the side of the motor, this one here and this one here. Well, this one kind of bolts to the side of the block. So I've got these, and then I've got the bypass. This one used to run way down on the side over by the oil cooler, and then it ran all the way back from the other side of the oil, where the oil cooler was hooked up through a oil heat coolant exchanger thing. So I've already got a 90 on this one with a little bit of the 3/4 inch line. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little 3/4 inch line to this one, add another 90, and splice the two and kind of like just tee the two together. That way I can run the bypass here without any kinks, to where I had the kinks in the last setup. So trying to eliminate that a little bit. I also got in here and kind of wiped down, I know it's hard to see, but I kind of wiped down a lot of the dirt and debris that was kind of floating everywhere, as you can tell by the mess on the floor. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these installed and show you guys what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, took a little bit to get everything together, but I've got kind of a makeshift U going on here. See, these are the new 2 Vibrant hoses. This is an OEM hose, and I've got just the 2 90s with the little sections all kind of pieced together. Heated them up and put some slide on them to get them in. And hopefully that'll work, and that'll still, from what I can tell, allow me to attach these to the block where they gotta go. So hopefully this bypass here will work a little bit better than what I had on there originally, which was the 2 lines coming down, and they went to the oil heat exchanger way over here, and I had put a hose on it kind of like this, but it looks like it had kinked, so I think that may have been some of my problem. But now I got this all fixed up, so I'm just waiting on that throwout bearing, and hopefully I can get the motor in. I've got a couple days for the show, so try my best, guys. So guys, the other thing I may do, because I've got some time while I wait for parts and the motor's out, I figure I may run the oil pressure gauge. The boost gauge is already wired up and ready to go. I moved a bunch of the fittings over, but I've got the auto meter because it kind of matches the factory mini dials. So this is the electric one, and we'll go ahead and see if I can get this installed since the motor's out, and I can run all the cords, and then attach the adapter that I have sitting in the house as well. So hopefully this should stop my problems that I've been having with my oil pressure light being on, besides the fact of the new motor. So little update, I've got the wires kind of running down the side of the car right now. They're going to end up going to the passenger side of the car, because that's where the oil sending unit's going to be, kind of over there. But I have the boost gauge already running through a hole in the firewall, so I'm pulling the harness through at about the same spot because I've already made the slit and it should seal. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the harness through there, and then feed the wires across so they're all kind of hidden, and then drop them down for the sending unit. I've kind of made a mess over here as well with the sending unit. I do have an adapter that will allow me to run the factory sending unit, sending unit sensor, along with the new sensor that'll go to the gauge. Eventually I'm going to have to run the lights. I don't have the lights on the boost gauge yet. So this is what it looks like outside the car, with the harness coming through there. And then I've got most of the car taken apart. I haven't pulled the steering wheel off. I don't know why. I really don't want it to get messed up because it's my Vertex wheel. Got the door cards sitting in while I deal with some speakers, which will be in a follow-up video. The speakers in the pink car went bad, so I pulled them out and pulled the green one, the ones on the green one, and I ordered some new speakers for this car. So that, of course, will be in a follow-up video. I just got to do some harness, redo the harness there, and get this door together, because I've got 3 or 4 days for the show. By the time you guys watch this, it'll probably be the day before the show. So the boost line is this one here. Way up there, I gotta fish the harness out so I can clip the gauge together. So I'm gonna go ahead and accomplish that. I had to pull the whole Euro tray down, the remote for the air ride, so kind of made a mess of the car. Pulled some of the dashboard apart, the speaker box and everything else. So quite a few things are going on with the car at the same time that I decided to do while I wait for more parts. So hopefully I can get everything back together is my goal and get to this show on Saturday. Alright guys, so it's time for me to call it a night. I've got the power and ground run out this side. I got the rest of the harness shoved up in there. And then I've actually got the piece that's going to connect to the sensor run all the way through here. Right now I'm running it up, it just kind of wrapped around this a little bit. But what I'm going to end up doing, like I tapped the holes for the oil cooler, I'm going to go ahead, probably tap a hole here, maybe a little bit lower, but honestly I'm probably going to do it up here. And I'm going to put a grommet on it. I'm going to run the sensor through that, and then I'll run it down through all this with maybe some of the wiring harness that's going to be here. This is the one that I need to put on the motor when I put the motor in. But since the sensor is going to be somewhere over here, I'm just going to drop the sensor down, wrap it all up, put some protective coating on it, put one of those protective covers on it, and then I should have an oil pressure gauge. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night for tonight. And hopefully I can get the release bearing or throwout bearing in the stock tomorrow, so when I get home from work I can slap that in the transmission. And then I'm actually off on Thursday because it is my birthday, so I'm going to take that day off, hopefully get everything buttoned up in this car. If not, I've got Friday to deal with it. But my goal is to get the transmission on the motor, get the motor in the engine bay, try to slap everything together. I really want this car at the show on Saturday. This is the most I've worked on the car in such a long time. It's been having issues for over a year, and I really just want to start getting this car out. And I've even got some more stuff planned. So like I've got the speakers I've got to deal with. I've got the boost gauge fixed. I've got the oil pressure sensor I've bought. I got all the speakers and the sub and the amp and all that kind of stuff I need to deal with. I really just want to get this car running. And then once this car's running and I can do all that stuff, I can finish the Pink Mini with you guys, finish the motor mounts. I can do the rear wheel bearings that I bought. I'm gonna end up putting new tires on it, probably repainting the wheels just to brighten them up again. So I've got a lot of stuff planned. I've got to wrap the truck. So a lot of future videos, but I really need to get this car running. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. I do work tomorrow. Maybe me and Seal will come before I go to work, but I doubt it. So I'll catch it tomorrow, unless this whole PG&E power outage thing's gonna throw a wrench in it. So I'm gonna hope I can get the release bearing. That's really what's holding up the build right now. Once it's in, I can slap the transmission together, put it on the motor, get the motor in the engine, get the motor in the engine bay, and get everything running, because this car needs to run now. So I've got the support of all my friends and my team, along with my family for this one. So I want to get this going and be able to show you guys some more stuff. I've also got some possible good news that I found out today. I'm going over that this weekend, only because that's when I'll get the information fully. But until then, I'm going to go to bed, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. Alright guys, I got some good news. I got the release bearing from ACT. It was kind of drop shipped. It says release bearing once it'll focus. So it is the release bearing. I can go ahead, get this slapped into the transmission, hopefully get the transmission on the car. I'm going to get some food first, eat that, come back, and I'm going to start putting this together unless I decide to go to bed. And if I do, I'll wake up in the morning and get all this together. I got the notification today from District 10, who puts on the charity car show that I'm trying to go to on Saturday. My registration was accepted, so I'm going to go ahead and pray that I can get this car ready for this. A lot of the cities right now around my house are out of power with this whole PG&E power thing going on. So kind of glad I have the day off of work tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead, grab some food, throw the release bearing in, see if I can get the transmission together, and try and get this car started, because I want to get the motor in and get to this show. So I'll follow up with you guys when I come back. So showing off the metal ACT bushing, obviously you guys can tell it's bright outside, and I ended up going to bed after eating food last night. But if I can get this to focus back, this is the metal one. Let's see if I can actually touch screen. And alright guys, so this is going to be the metal release bearing from ACT. So it's a kind of a whole new redesign. It's still got some plastic parts, but it's a lot more metal than the old one. So this is the new cool metal piece that's going in. Let me go ahead and this is the one that's coming out. So the one that's coming out, you can tell it suffered a little bit of abuse. It's actually rather burnt, covered in oil, but it's all plastic, so it doesn't come down as far. I don't really like this design as much. So let's see, maybe this one is all metal as well. It's just different colored. I'm kind of looking past the camera, looking at it in person, but I like the new design a lot better, with the fact it's all different color, and you can tell it's metal. It's a little bit, looks a little bit thicker than the old one. So we're gonna go ahead and clip that in and try to see if we can get the motor on. So we should. I'm probably just spraying clutch fluid all over the place. Yep, and I am. And I'm stepping in it, so I'm just we'll clip that in and get this transmission on, so I don't make more of a mess. I'm going to use both hands instead of holding the camera. So I'm going to get that in, and then probably wipe down the transmission a little bit more to get all that debris out. I forgot I have to do that. So I'm going to get to cleaning and then get this thing on the transmission and get this thing on the motor. So everything else is lined up. The clutch alignment tool is still there. I want to get this motor in. Alright guys, so I just want to follow up before I go to bed tonight. My dad came over after we had dinner and cake for my birthday and helped me put the trans back together. So we were having issues lining everything up, so it took a little bit longer than we wanted it to, because I had to keep pulling stuff off and putting it back together, mainly realigning the clutch. But we got the motor together. I got to put a couple more trans bolts in. I'm going to end up doing that in the morning. I have to go to DMV as well, so I need to get the registration going. So I need to find that. I'm going to do that actually before I go to bed. But I don't need to show you guys that. But I do have a couple of bolts in. I know it's hard to see because of the light. But everything's actually bolted together. So the next step is to get this thing in the engine bay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in the morning after I get back from DMV. And work as hard as I can to get everything running for Saturday in the morning. So I'm hoping I might be able to talk a couple friends into coming over after they get off work on Friday and get this thing finished. But I'll let you guys know how that goes. What is going on, guys? Want to give a little bit of an update. As you can see right there, the motor is in the engine bay. So I kind of got it sitting above the engine bay. I'm trying to hook a bunch of stuff up, hook up the coolant lines, run the power, do all that kind of stuff. I've got about 15 hours left before I have to roll out for the show tomorrow. So I kind of have a clock of 15 hours to get everything running, or I'm going to end up taking another car to the show. So I'm going to get started on this. I do have dinner with my parents for my birthday again tonight, and then when I get back from that, it's pushing it all the time. But I've got 15 hours on the clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get to this. Alright guys, I know this is kind of a long vlog, but you know, getting this motor running and getting videos of this car for you guys is kind of been my goal for right now. But I'm getting ready to head to dinner, and the motor's on the motor mounts. It's on the trans mount and the motor mount. I have to attach the bottom one on the rear, and the rest of the upper half of the motor mount that goes over here. But I've got the regular motor mount, I've got the trans mount all connected, got to put the intercooler in. I'm just starting with the wiring harness, but I'm going to head to dinner, and then as soon as I come back, I'm going to bust the rest of this out. But by the time I get back, I'll probably have like 13 hours left to get everything done with no sleep. So I don't know if any of my buddies are going to come over. Hopefully they do, but if not, I'm going to be working on this all night. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the vlog here so I can get this posted for you guys to watch while I go to the show. So, I want to say, you know, guys, thanks for following along. Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe, all the good stuff for the channel. So I know you guys want me to keep producing more stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and get this done. You guys will have to watch the next one to see if the car makes it. I know I'm tired, so there's a chance it won't. And in that case, I'm probably going to be taking the truck just because it's a lot more comfortable. We can hang out in it and everything at the show. So I'm going to go ahead and finish uploading this for you guys, and then I'll get started on, I'll keep working on the mini. I'm kind of do both as it uploads and everything. I can bring my laptop down here and have it going on in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out both things, and hope you guys can watch the next one to see if I brought the mini to the show. Until then, I'll see you guys then.